Welcome to Live with Sensei. I'm your host, Jay Haynes, and we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. At least we hope we are streaming on those. So leave a comment if you're here and let me know. I see Dafter Things has already said hello. It's great to see you, Dafter Things. I'm glad you're here. I would like to welcome my guests today, starting with to my direct left or right on your screen is Frank. And next to Frank is Nathan.
Hello.
And directly below me is Mike. And in the far bottom corner is Justin. It's like the Brady Bunch here. George Film, you're here. Great to have you, sir. Glad that you could make it. And also Terry, 4K Productions. Great to have you also. Today we are talking about the release of, wait a minute, let me find it, HitFilm Pro 16 and HitFilm Express 16. We're going to talk about both of the HitFilm products that were released 2 days ago. Let me see. Oh, good morning, Mike and David. David, it's great to have you, sir, also. Pleasure to see you. Everybody looks like they're coming in from YouTube. CC Coder, great to have you. If you're on Twitch or Facebook, leave a comment there so that I can see you there also. Sean, glad to have you. It's a pleasure. And Tony, it's been a while since seeing you all live. I hope you're all well. How are you guys doing? Frank, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
You're very quiet now. You might have turned your mic down on me there. You weren't a minute ago.
Did I?
Yep.
Hit me.
Bring it up a little bit. Somebody has an airplane flying by them.
How's that?
It's a little better. It's a little quiet still, but it's a little better.
Howdy.
It's still pretty quiet. It was before. What happened?
No.
You wiggle a wire in your headphones or something?
I don't know.
It's a deliberate choice. It's so that when Frank speaks, we all have to pay attention.
Well, in the meantime, Nathan, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
It's great to have you. Mike, how about you in sunny California?
Woohoo! It is sunny. Can't complain. Things are good.
It is sunny here also. It is quite nice. I walked around in a t-shirt and shorts today. Justin, how are you doing?
Doing well. It's in like the 40s and 50s here in Las Vegas, so not too bad. A little cloudy today, but not clouding my spirits.
It is 65 right now here in Virginia, where I'm at. So
50-something here in California. Yes, that's a great line, Terry. Justin, still better 40, 50 degrees where you can put on another layer and do something about it, not July.
True. Yeah, so. July in Vegas, 115. Little different story.
Yeah, don't know whether, hopefully 4K Productions, it will work when you open the box. But let me tell you, if it does, you're going to love it.
It'll just be a cat.
Yeah, it'll just be a cat in there.
Software and boxes.
Great to see you. And feel free to ask any questions that you like. So if you have any questions along the way, please let us know. TMKK. Great to have you too. And you're on Twitch. So you can see the little Twitch logo there, which means you're on Twitch. So that's nice to see. I like it. And see right now, it's both fantastic and not. Yeah. And the real Broly, HitFilm crashed again. What happened? What did you do?
Yeah, right?
So, here's a question. Can you make a tutorial on how to make a shockwave? I actually made one already, but it's not that great. It was a while back, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm a lot better at it now, right? My policy is I just use other people's shockwaves, you know? Action VFX has a brand new set of shockwaves that are just stunningly beautiful, as well as Video Copilot. Production Crate has some, and there are some free ones out there also. Sebastian, great to have you. Sebastian does HitFilm tutorials in French, which is really cool. And I sit and watch the tutorials going, I don't understand anything he's saying, but it looks really cool. So that's the good news. And Sebastian's on Facebook, so great. So that means we must be on live on all three of these. So, what do you think is the biggest update in HitFilm 16? Lumpy Dan, thanks for that question. Who would like to answer that?
3D models, dude. All 3D, all day, all night.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it.
I'm waiting to go last.
Nathan, what do you think?
Probably my favorite feature would be like the new material options with the metallic glossiness and also the normal glossiness one. And then I'd probably also say the new custom lens flares because I love lens flares and that would be cool.
That's 3 for the 3D model stuff. I'm tempted to agree because that's stuff I've been waiting for, but the biggest update in HitFilm 16, and they've mentioned it, but it's kind of flying under the radar, is the fact that they've changed the core engine. HitFilm is OpenGL based, and this version has changed the core OpenGL from OpenGL 2 to OpenGL 4, and that's actually the biggest update in HitFilm 16 because that opens up a lot of possibilities for future effects, future things. They've just made the engine more modern and put a bunch more, there's now more options in the core thing. So that's actually the biggest update because that's what sets the groundwork for the next couple of years.
Yeah. And it also brings HitFilm forward a lot. And it's sort of a behind the scenes kind of a thing where you don't really notice that it happened. But if you're working something below the 2017 release of OpenGL, then you might have some issues with it.
They didn't come that. I don't think they came that far forward. I think they went to I don't know exactly which version. I think it's 4.0 or 4.1. It's the last version that wouldn't raise the minimum specs again, right? Because if we were using the 2017 version of OpenGL, then all of those people, right, still running those 2013, 2014 systems, they would have all been instantly made unable to run the software. So, a carefully chosen version. I think it's one of the 2012 versions.
Good to know. Good to know. Because I was curious about it myself. My machine is only about 1.5 years old, so I figured it wouldn't be a problem. But and it's not. But I do know that some people have had issues, going from HitFilm 15 to HitFilm 16, and they're having problems getting 16 to run like it should.
Right. We've got the thread going on the forum right now, and it's a bunch of those guys who are all using Quadros, and it's like, yeah, you guys probably just have old drive, and they're all end-of-life Quadros, and I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah. Let me see here. I'm going to go right down here. I love NDP.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. I know this is a little dull, but remove unused assets.
No, that's a great one too. Hey,
it is.
Mildly funny story. For the audience who doesn't know, I just did a 4-month freelance contract with FX Home as a beta tester. So I got to start playing with 16 back in August and know a couple things for 17, but I can't talk about them. But Tony, for Dafter things, removed unused assets. When that came across the bug checklist I was doing, the feature checklist, I look at it, and then down near the bottom of the dev notes, this is a feature requested by Triumph23 on the forum. So when I tested it, my report was like, that Triumph23 guy is going to be so thrilled when this comes out, and I was, because it's a little dull, but removed unused assets. I think for motion graphics guys, right? Justin, you'll figure with this, and then Dafter things. You guys generate a lot of unused assets, and then you need to, you just want to clean your stuff up if you're not using it, or maybe you've done a bunch of composite shots and you keep creating new planes every time rather than dragging the same plane out of the media layer, and then you delete things and you're like, oh, I've got 10 planes in the media bin I'm not using, and they're all named new plane 3, and which ones do I get rid of? So
Yeah.
That does happen. Hopefully you haven't done that exactly, but you know. Oh, hey, good morning. Good to have you. Solo Samurai Productions from Australia. How about the 3D model stuff? Seems amazing. Even I can't light it correctly yet. Always too dark. Any tips on that?
I'll do a prelim and then pass it off to Frank. So if you're familiar with the older engines in HitFilm, the Fongs and the Cook Torrents, those are a bit more of a kind of a classic render engines. It's the way of looking at the things in the math that go back to like the 80s and the 90s, and they are technically PBR shaders. HitFilm has been PBR since version 4. The current PBR shaders, like the metallic glossiness and the spec glossiness, they're all derived from Disney's BDRF shader. So when you go into, say, Blender and you see the BDRF shader, the spec gloss and the metallic roughness are versions of that, but they work in different ways. And you can't take a model that was built for an older shader like a Lambert or a V-Ray or whatever and plop it into the metallic roughness or the spec gloss and have it look good. Because I was trying that and everything was coming out too dark, and you just have to paint your textures in a different way because of how those are responding. And now I'll pass that off to Frank, because Frank is the guy who, paints all his textures at 8K. He'll know better about the differences, right?
The differences?
Well, I mean, between like a classic diffuse map and something like Cook Torrents, you'd paint in your shading. But if you're painting for metallics, you want more flat colors because all the details on the roughness map. You're not painting your dirt on a diffuse map for metallic, you're painting it on the roughness map. And then spec gloss, in Cook Torrents, your specular map is black and white, and it's where does the specular highlight appear. And in the specular glossy shader, your specular highlight is the color, and it's determining the color of the metal, and it's just the roughness map that's black and white, right? Yeah, like you said, backwards. So it's a learning curve.
Well, some things are just the inverse of something else, but it's all black and white. So if you know how to reverse it, invert it, you're good.
But it's just doing a little bit of research on those. I should find the articles. I found some good articles and videos online talking about how those two shaders work. And if you read up on it, then you look at the models you have and be like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do to make them work in HitFilm. But it is a little weird.
Here's Greg, who is apparently in Wyoming. It's great to have you, Greg.
Sorry.
Watching on your cell phone.
Sorry, Mike. Sorry, dude. I heard myself over there.
Frank was excited.
That's why I don't wear headphones.
Hey, happy birthday, Sean. Great great that you're here. I'm glad to see it. Let me see. I made
NDP. I'm lost on the NDP reference that was made earlier.
Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry.
Tell us all about
There
it.
we go.
What did I miss?
The NDP reference.
It took me a second to realize that was ND Productions that we have in here. So
yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Because we call him Nathan.
Yeah,
Nathan. That's who we call him.
Well, it helps if I read the screen.
Well, yeah.
That little detail there.
Let's see. Solo Samurai says, I got what I wanted and suggested, though I wasn't sure. I'm sure I wasn't the only one. Better frame export, which is perfect for thumbnails.
I love that new frame export. I used that yesterday, setting up this new thing I'm going to show you later on. But it just made the export, immediate import, pop it in so much simpler.
Oh, it's nice. I have a project I did, and I wanted to open up the project file to show it, but I can't for tech reasons. Where is my share screen button? There we go. Share screen is easy with 2 more. Share screen. Select window or screen. Hey, watch me have not done this yet. Here, I'll just show that. No, I'll just show that.
All right, I can. Wait a minute. You want me to add it?
Okay. Yes, please.
There it is.
Way too much build up for this image, but the main thing about it is this is a book cover I did for a small game company, and the export frame really made this a lot easier to render everything out in layers, because the sky is a layer, this logo is its own thing. These are 3D model Caustic's Plane, 3D model, 3D model, 3D model. All of these, there's like 120 different models in here, but the export frame made it a lot easier to start breaking things up and compositing out the layers as I started locking positions on things and then bringing them right back into the timeline. I love that. That was too much build-up for nothing interesting.
No, that is really cool. And you did that in HitFilm 16 when it was still in beta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, I looked at. I think that main model is a GLTF model as well.
Oh, right.
That Skull Cave thing.
Did you pull that from like Sketchfab or something?
No, it's from Turbo Squid.
Oh, Turbo Squid. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. The in the past when I made thumbnails, I would make the thumbnail, then I would export it, and then I would use Paint to load it and save it as a JPEG because a PNG file was just too big. YouTube wouldn't take it, and so it was like a workflow thing. But now it's just like, hey, I want to make it a JPEG, great. I want to make it, a different format, wonderful. So that's some really nice.
Better.
I think. You want me to show that?
Yeah, quickly. All I was going to say here is that for all the little figures in the background, Mixamo is my friend.
Mixamo.
Right, find the model, bounce it into Mixamo, go back into Blender, find the frames that I wanted to use in the layout, and just save them out as frames. And
yeah, that's
all these different dudes to scatter around
in different poses.
Yeah,
that's the best part. Daniel, it was great having you, but I understand you got to pay for your HitFilm habit somehow. So, work is work, right? It's great to have you. And he did say it is great with the new features, which I didn't know I needed. Funny how that happens, right? Until you see it and you go, oh man, I can however I got along without it. Let's see. Oh, Phil is here.
Phil Wesson turned down the second metallic slider.
There you go. There you go. I have not actually played with any of the sliders or any of the metallics at all. All I have done is just, if you look at like this shot, this is that shot that I had in my video. I literally just pulled this out of the box and dropped it into HitFilm, and it looks that good. I mean, the metallic is fantastic. I mean, I'm amazed at that. You know what I mean? I just can't believe it. And I've yet to even start trying to play with it. It's like Javert's light flares. I haven't played with them. I just drop them in, and they're good. I don't even have to mess with them. They're that beautiful. So, I mean, I'm really, really thrilled with how well this, or how wonderfully this thing is running.
Yeah, the flares are pretty awesome.
Yeah. And to me, I know it seems stupid, but to me, the sync tracks icon button, I love that. I love that because I think we all have like 800 tracks that we're trying to work with and it'd be nice to be able to see the audio and the video together, and so having that little feature is like, oh, man, that's awesome.
No, that's one of those beautiful ease of life things.
Yeah. And the delete tracks, or delete unused tracks. Oh, where was that been my whole life? So I love that. I love that too. Definitely cleanup stuff. Cleanup all the way. So, and Sebastian says, by the way, I want to thank you guys for the advice on the particle sim. That's on the forums, asking around about that. So let me see. This is a good question. Should I be prompted to download HitFilm 16 when opening HitFilm? And the answer is yeah, you should. But I downloaded it and installed it without opening up the other one. And then I saw that some people weren't getting the prompt.
Yeah, I didn't get the prompt when I first downloaded it. So I just went onto FX Home's website and then went to the update history and then downloaded the newest version.
Yeah, and I saw somebody from FX Home said, hey, we'll take a look at that and why that's not happening. So I don't know if it is now happening, but I know at one point it wasn't happening. So, and Greg says, I feel like I'm way behind. If you haven't opened this up, then you are way behind. Way behind. All right, so Justin, oh, here it is. I sent a message this morning, and she said they're looking into it. So there you go. So maybe they're still looking into it. I have to admit, I've never seen that happen where it didn't give you the prompt as soon as there was a new version. So, yeah, and same here. I went and directly uploaded it. Yeah, if you didn't get the prompt, then you want to, right?
Glossed over sync tracks.
Yeah, over the sync tracks. Can you go into what it is for? Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, you do it. Your show. You're hosting.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Tony, right? If you go into HitFilm in prior versions and you've got your video tracks and you got your audio tracks, and you start scrolling your video tracks and your audio tracks stay here doing nothing. So when you turn sync tracks on, they scroll in opposite directions. So as your video 1, as you scroll up your video 1, your audio will move that way so that audio 2 pops in next to audio 1. So you'll see your list kind of scroll in opposite directions from each other, but it keeps your video 1 right below your audio 1 and then your audio 2, and it just keeps them together so you don't have to, video, audio, video, audio, video, audio. They're just right there. It's one of those things that just will keep things moving faster because it'll be less mouse movement. Jay's gonna get a screen up and demo.
Yeah, so they're moving separately right now, right? But if I hit this little button, then they move together so that they're in line with each other. Audio 1 and video 1, audio 2 and video 2, and so on and so forth. The first track, the second track, and so on and so forth. And that's just really nice because then you can really take this and drop it down and still have access to, not I got to search this and now I got to move that, right? You can just turn on this little sync and everything moves together with each other. I just love that.
Oh, cool.
I'm looking at the wrong thing.
I rarely have enough things to use that kind of a feature. A lot of the editing I'm doing these days is just 2 tracks the most. So, but when that comes up, I'm sure it'll be handy.
Mix-a-mo.
Yeah, well, and on my things, I like my tutorial template.
Have all the Mix-a-mo animations on my system now.
All of those things on it, so.
And I like to think that Greg did that the hard way, and he just kept uploading the same model and rigging it with all of Mix-a-mo's different skeletal systems, and then downloading every animation individually, and then adjust the arm space and download it again. I like to think that he just spent all week doing that because that would be funny.
Yeah, exactly. I could just see that. That's something I thought, man, I ought to do. But then I looked and went, holy smokes, look at how many of these animations there are here. That's crazy. There's an unbelievable amount of them. So, what else we got in HitFilm? I don't even remember. Do you guys remember all the other things? I got a list.
Oh.
Remove.
I've got a list too, which I'll go look at. I've actually just realized that on this computer, I'm not running the release version yet. I'm like, wait, I actually have to upgrade this computer right now.
The editor tracks can be renamed just by double-clicking. That is really a feature too, because I do like on my, I'll have this is my music track, this is my main video track, this is my, lower third track, this is my, overlay track or whatever. This is my text track, and so I have all these tracks, and I go, which track is this? And then I realize I put things on the wrong track and stuff. And so I have to go in and rename them all. So it's nice not to have to right-click and then select rename and then type in and blah, blah, blah. You just double-click and boom, and then you rename it. And that's lovely. I mean, that's
there are only a few places in the interface where that doesn't happen. 3D model import dialog, right? If you want to rename a geometry or a texture in there, you have to right-click it. And I'm like, can we get an F2 or a double-click?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. Here's a new feature we didn't talk about yet, and it's one of the ones that's going to be a fan favorite, and it's H.265 import.
Yep, there it is right there. Yeah, and I know a lot of people who really, really want to be able to decode H.265 without having to go through Handbrake and transcode it into 264 or whatever.
Hint: you should still transcode for 264. 264 is not the fastest, but it still responds faster than H.265. And pretend I quoted one of Norman's amazing posts on that.
I agree. But I haven't actually tried the H.265 footage, so I couldn't tell you because I had nothing that codes into that. So, and Sebastian says nothing to do with the last update, but the track behavior is great as well. Yeah, where to go? The new motion lock effect is a lovely little feature. And I did it with a bonfire effect, but really it's more for text or something like that. You know?
But wait a minute, did you actually, in your video on that, you parented the bonfire on track 2 to the track on track 1 that had the...
Yep,
I missed that. I missed that somehow. See, I thought that the motion track effect only applied to effects on the layer with the motion track added after the motion track, right? So that if I created a layer and did the motion track and then put a flare on. So I didn't realize that you could parent another layer to it, and that makes that effect actually much more useful than I thought. I was like, this is neat, but like, oh wait.
Yeah, and
so
actually, the way I probably should have done it was parented a point to it, and then parented everything to that point instead of, you know.
Yeah,
I mean?
it looks like you could.
Yeah, but I didn't do that actually. So that's sort of very similar to the motion. What is it? The motion track effect. What was it called in the previous film 15? I forget.
It's it's the same tracking engine that drives the pan crop and the stabilize the new stabilize.
Yeah, but it's a pretty cool effect. It'll come in handy for, you know, when you want a text to follow something or whatever, you know what I mean, or like you said, a light flare to follow some, you know, something that's
motion
moving.
pin. Was that what they called it?
No, it was called motion track effect or motion something effect. I forget. I have to look it up. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But and I see you added HitFilm 16 update to your Udemy class. Yes, I did. So everything that is included in HitFilm Express, the free version, is now updated on my on my Udemy page. The only really big thing that people are going to complain about is in my Udemy class, it says if you want to export a frame, you go to this spot. And if you went there, it's not there. You'd have to watch my update on that. And so people are going to go, it's not there when I did that. And I'll say, you got to watch the latest video. It'll show you where it's at, you know. But that's okay. That's okay. And Phil, thank God for H.265. Can't argue with that.
Shooting on iPhone, Phil?
Yeah, that's a good question. Are you shooting on an iPhone?
Lumpy Dan, any Christmas special pricing coming up? Hint, hint. Is that he must be asking you, Jay?
I don't. Not me. Oh, yeah. Unless you're asking me about my Udemy class, in which case, no. But if I don't know if there's going to be any special pricing. I highly doubt it for FX Home. But we wouldn't know that stuff.
Yeah, the big sale tends to be the one right around Thanksgiving, usually.
It's the one that just ended.
The one that just ended, and then they usually have one around the 4th of July.
Yeah. There's the guy on the forum this morning who was asking, like, which add-on pack should I buy? And I'd be like, oh man, I wish you'd asked us this like last week.
Yeah. No kidding.
You know, like what you get next week? You should get that special Black Friday pack that's like 83.3% off.
Yeah.
20%
my
to charity.
God. What a deal that was. That was like killer. I saw that and I had to pick my jaw up off the floor. What a offering that was. That was fantastic. So Doctor says I need is auto arrange my special effects into the order that they appear. Must be my workflow, but they're all over the place. Are you talking about like in your media bin or in the layer stack or where? Because for me, I put everything in folders in the media bin, and it keeps it super organized. That way, and all the folders are closed until I need a folder, and I open it, take what I need, close it. That kind of a thing. There's a right-click collapse all feature. It just closes everything. And that I use that all the time. There was another little thing that I noticed, and I thought, that's really cool. But now I can't remember for the life of me what it was. Isn't that terrible? And I played with it and went, I didn't even know you could do this. So, those of you in the chat, tell us what your favorite new thing about HitFilm 16 is.
My we did this, we'll do it again.
Yeah. No, not you guys. In the chat.
Oh, in the chat.
Yep.
Sound effects on stack drive. Go back.
Hey, Bill.
Oh, okay. Hi, Bill.
Good to see you, Bill. You got your H.265 in the newest version.
Billionaire.
Yeah, billionaire. Bill posted the coolest drone footage today. This guy flies his drone along a roller coaster. And he flies on it. It looks like roller coaster footage, but it's his drone. It's unbelievable. What talent. It was incredible. He posted it on Facebook, actually. That's where he posted it. The new flare system and distortion effects are going to enable lots of interesting designs. Was it Tony C who used the fractal noise with light flares to create all these crazy looking background things? And I thought about that when I saw these new custom light flares. I thought, my gosh, there's an infinite possibility there that is absolutely fantastic. So
Philip West. You can flex, man. You can flex.
You drag them in, but I go back and add more so the stack gets out of order. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you just have to drag and place them where you want them. But that's true. I see what you're saying. And that's what I do. I just reorder them, Thanks, Sebastian, for showing up. We'll look forward to seeing you later.
Bye, Sebastian.
Which one were you looking at, Mike? I didn't see it.
It's Philip Wesson, two below Sebastian.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Loving the new 3D stuff. It's gorgeous. I need to use more, but I've been so busy learning how to. Yeah, that's a flex. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Flare system, then be a 3D model import. Then be.
See, no, I don't have that rendered either. Or do I?
Mike's talking to himself again.
Yeah, again.
I know.
Oh, how about this one? The voiceover recorder.
Oh, yes.
This has been a highly requested feature. And I will use it, but my microphone on my computer, the one that you're hearing now, is not nearly as good as my H1 Zoom. And so I usually record with an H1 Zoom and then I sync them together in HitFilm. I do the merge, and it's fabulous. So I will use that, but I will also record on the H1 Zoom and then I'll merge them together in HitFilm. So I should be able to get the best of both worlds out of it.
Yeah, I've just realized I'm using my webcam microphone instead of this guy.
Oh, well, you sound pretty good. You don't sound terrible by any means.
I have to say, the audio recorder that they added, it's one of the features that I kind of saw them announce it, and I was like, well, that's going to be cool, and then kind of moved it to the side. But I've now actually just started thinking of the uses for it, because instead of having to go through Audacity to do a quick outro or intro for a video, you can just do it straight in the software. So that would be great.
Yeah. In the past, what I've done is I've just, started my recorder, my Zoom, and then I hit play, in HitFilm, and I watch it as I'm voiceovering it. And then I have to go in and sync it up. So I think this will help with the sync. But it could be the same amount of time as far as the workflow, but I think it'll be a better sync. So that's the good news. Unused assets is the best. Removing the unused assets, especially with stop motion. Makes sense to me. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, all right, I don't know which one of these smoke stock footage effects I want to use. So I'm just going to drag them all in, They're all sitting there in the media bin. And then they go, oh, no. Oh, here we go. This one looks good. And then they go, which one did I use? I don't even know. So then they start trying to delete things, right? And then it's like, no, you can't delete that. It's in the, oh, okay. That's the one, right? So it's nice to be able to go, just get rid of all
Get rid of all this stuff I'm not touching.
Yeah, yep. I'm with you. And Terry says, Nathan, don't be afraid to jump in once in a while.
Yep.
Yeah, we like to talk, so you gotta get a word in edgewise. Fancy dude, great to have you. Upgraded 3D model render. Totally. Let's see. See, here you go. Edit Fortnite montage. I think anybody who is doing like video games analysis and stuff, that voice over recording is going to be what you'll use.
Yeah, but Flam, there actually is a time remap in HitFilm. It just kind of sucks, but it is there. With the speed effect, you can keyframe speed changes, and you can do speed ups and slowdowns. It's just the way that HitFilm does it right now is really non-intuitive and a little bit weird. And that is something that will hopefully be improved in the future. But it's not that there isn't time remap. It's just terrible. Bye, Greg. And, heading for Colorado. Drive safely, Ben.
Yeah, drive safe. No kitchen?
Yeah, in a different room. I had to clear out somewhere else to work. And Bill, I just... my fellow chat roundtable people know it's been going on for the last week, so it's just
stuff happening.
Yeah, literally, that's required hours and hours of cleanup.
Yeah.
4 hours a day of scrubbing. Oh God. That's not an exaggeration, guys. It's like okay, it's 8 p.m. Let's do this. We'll clean this up, and then we'll watch some Doctor Who and go to. Oh, it's 1 a.m. Oh, we got to take the curtains down. Ah, that's true. We did. We had to take all the curtains down.
Wow. Oh my. So Justin, I understand that you have a sneak peek of something you want to show us.
A little something. Well, you're already sharing this. I'm already sharing the screen with you, so we can pull it up anytime. But this is actually kind of how I'm planning on revealing this in the video, not obviously with the main, HitFilm UI here, but this is something I played with last night. Now, if I play through this is playing through in real time. I mean, a little slight delay there. So this is reacting to something. Maybe if I go a little bigger. So first off, you tell what those are.
Dice pip dots for a cube face.
Exactly. So these are reacting to video. So the brightness of the video is driving which combination, which dice thing shows.
Huh.
Let me know when you can figure out what's the source here.
It's a video source, right?
Can you zoom out?
It's not an audio source.
So let's
there
see.
you go. Thank you.
Hello.
It's
anyway, the audio kind of blew.
Okay, so let's see. Let's look at his timeline here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 media layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 composites. So This isn't something where you're, I'm going to think of something horribly complicated and you do it in one layer.
No, this takes multiple layers, multiple comps, and but aside from one effect, this can all be done in Express too.
Wow.
So, and I thought I had the thing muted. The audio's blown out. Is audio coming through or just a screen share?
I don't hear any audio.
Well, if I play it now.
Now I hear it.
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay. Anyway, here's like the smallest version I got. See if that looks familiar.
I know. I recognize that's one good-looking dude.
Yeah, he's pretty stellar there.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's got lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
Man, he is really good-looking.
So this is all being driven, and I can replace the content here. So I've got like a master source file out here, a master comp I can set up. So right now, yes, we have our lovely buddy Jay, but I can throw anything I want in here, and it just kind of goes through. This is just a still photo, but it's the technique to get the brightness of the image to drive, which of these dice dot combinations are used in this kind of mosaic of sorts. I saw somebody do it in a program out there called Cavalry. It's designed for motion graphics. You can do like node-based kind of connections between layers and stuff, and it's pretty awesome. And in there, it's a piece of cake. But I figured, how could I do this in HitFilm? So I spent a few hours, and most of the time really it took maybe about an hour or so to figure out the right combination of pieces to put together. And then the rest of my several hours was doing the different sizes. So I have, the single here, all these out here, different detail levels. Kind of redoing things. And basically, I built a folder in here with all my layouts. So I've got, I took one of these, built it all out, and then duplicated that. But that also got all the comps in here, and then various images for the different arrays of dice. And anyway, there will be a tutorial coming on how this is built. But it's also going to be part of the video that I submit for the wrap-up thing for FXR.
Yeah. That is really cool.
So
that is really cool.
Threw my thing in there as well, just for fun there.
Let me see here. Looking through. HitFilm, great to see you. All right.
Films. CC Coder, I ate my cereal before coming up to the bedroom. That's several higher, Jay. Don't worry about it.
Okay. CC. Oh, no cereal. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
DJ Mini 2 Flight. Yeah, I've been wanting to buy a drone and pick one up, and maybe it'll be that one. I live in a no-fly zone. I live too close to an airport, so
that is a problem. That is a problem. So
yeah. It's a dumb thing, but it'll slow you down if you're thinking about buying a drone, because it's not like I can just go out in front of the house and be like, okay, I just want to take it straight up and straight down and practice that simple shot. It's like, no, I actually, just to turn it on, I have to go drive half an hour to get somewhere.
Right.
Where
you can actually fly it.
Yeah.
So even like low-level flights around your place, you can't do it.
I'm within I'm 2 miles from an airport. The DJI app doesn't even let you fly if you're too close to an airport. I mean, literally
I wasn't sure if it was like an altitude thing where they check the altitude of the device to see whether you're up a certain height or.
I don't think so.
I've never had a drone, so I don't know the drone thing.
You see Chris coming up. Solo Samurai, he got a drone a week later, and a week later they changed the Australian rules, and now he can't use it without going somewhere because, and Chris lives in Adelaide, which is a beautiful city, and it's got some lovely parks, and I mean, it would be, I would love to fly a drone around Adelaide, and he can't, I'm sure.
Yeah, that sucks.
Sorry, I was off taking care of something there. All right, let me see. I got myself a drone. A week later, they changed the rules and I can't use it. without
Yeah,
long drives either. So, there you
Mike
go.
was reviewing that, yeah.
All right, here's a question for you guys. What might Santa bring you that will help you with your hobbies?
A job?
Hopefully money.
Yeah.
I want my job back.
Everything he said. Everything he
I
said.
want my job back.
Oh, I'm sure.
Santa's already brought me HitFilm 16, so that is my new favorite toy. My wife calls herself a HitFilm widow. Yeah.
Spit's over there from Frank.
Yeah, Santa brought me, or I bought for myself, I actually picked up a Cam Kucam 8K 360-degree camera.
Mm-hmm.
Which
That's cool.
An 8K
Yeah, and I mean-
360?
8K 360. It'll shoot 8K 360 at 30 frames per second. It will shoot 4K at 120 frames per second. And in its photo mode, it can do an in-camera HDR, or it can shoot raw file DNG.
Damn.
And you I bought that to go for environment maps,
Oh yeah.
and that sort of thing. And I guess. All right, it's over here. Here, I'll call up that project. And this is I owned a Rilo, one of the Rilo 5.7K ones, but the problem with those is they never released the PC app for the Rilo, and just kind of discontinued it. And now you can't. You have to go through the phone app, and the phone app takes the 5.7K footage and downsamples it to 4K. And it's like, if I'd known that you were basically selling something where you reneged on your promises, I wouldn't have bought it. So the Kucam will replace that. But Jay, if you can go ahead, I should have a screen shared, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't with the Kucam. This is with the Rilo, and there were some render glitches in this, again done in the beta. But this is just this is nothing. This is just walking around the 360-degree camera with the gimbal, but you can see why I wanted to get that for doing environment wraps and for that type of location and for being able to shoot video, because it's
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Because without the render glitches, I mean, this is just a stupid sphere sitting in a parking space, but it kind of starts to sell as something just because that's all matched up. And Frank, imagine how nice that'll look when I double the resolution of the environment wrap.
Yeah.
And then, since there are render glitches here comes the roto that I never bothered to do because I'm gonna have to re-render it anyway.
That would have been cool, though. That would have been cool.
Yeah. So I'll go reshoot that.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then I'll probably I'll reshoot that on a DSLR on my larger gimbal rather than the cell phone, and then I won't have VFR issues to deal with the track either.
Right.
How come they got some weird gimbal lock there? You see every now and then the little flip in the video just now.
On the render glitches.
It was gimbal lock. It was everything flipping.
I didn't see it. Oh.
Yeah, if you look close.
I'll look again. Like another time, Mike. I got to roll here on my Santa bring to help you with your hobbies.
How long have you guys been using HitFilm?
2012.
2013.
Trying to remember.
I'm from 2017. I'm quite new.
You're the new guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably around 2012 or 13 for me. It was HitFilm Express version 2.
Oh no, then that had to be
When was
2013 or 2014, because 2014 was when HitFilm 3 came out.
it? Hang on, I've got a database. I can look it up.
I think.
Yes, you do. I have that database too. Here it is. I just found it. Let me see. HitFilm. I started with HitFilm
Oh yeah, Express 2 was April 2015. Okay.
Really?
I think it had just come out. Yeah, it was released
HitFilm.
on April 23rd, 2015. I've got dates in here for everything set.
No. HitFilm 2 Ultimate is what I started in.
Yeah.
And that was, it came out in 2013, but I think I started in 2014 is what happened. 2014. But yeah, I think you're right. I think HitFilm Express 2 was April of 2015. So that's a good question. So, but listen, Mike has been doing it longer than I have, because when my very first question that I ever asked on the forum, he answered.
Was it?
Correctly. He answered well.
How do I turn it on?
What was the question?
I don't even remember. I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
I think it was the Skittles touch. Remember the commercial where you touch and everything would turn to Skittles?
Oh, yeah.
I think
My first question on the forum was about 3D model textures in the particle simulator, and that got answered for me by Axel.
Axel.
Yeah.
My first experience was I needed to do a special effect for a thing that I was doing. I needed to do a matrix bullet effect. And so I went online and looked it up, and I found Rody Paulus's tutorial on how to do that in HitFilm 2 Ultimate. And so I said, well, that looks easy enough. I'll just do that. So I just bought it. I didn't even go with the free version. I went straight to the paid version, and that's how I started. And I only needed to do this one effect for this one little thing, but I was like, I need to do this, so there we go. And it worked perfectly. It worked like a charm. So
I was looking for a free editor, and I stumbled across a variety of things, and then HitFilm came up. I'm like, I haven't heard of this HitFilm thing before, so took a stab at it. And I think my first question in the forum was, what was it? I forget. I was having some editing issues, and I think that's when Mike first recommended transcoding, and that was kind of like, oh wow, this changes everything.
There's an idea. Nathan, how about you?
Well, I started using HitFilm because I saw a whole load of stop motion creators using After Effects, and I was like, right, I need to be able to do that kind of stuff, because at the time I was using a piece of editing software called, I think it was Serif Movie Plus X5, which was all right. It had the audio recorder, which is now in HitFilm. So that was so I was looking at After Effects and kind of saw the price, and I was like, that's a little bit out of my budget. So then my dad actually found that HitFilm Express was completely free, so I downloaded it, started using it, and have been using it ever since, and have loved using it.
Very cool. All right, I lied. My first question was, what's the best graphics card for HitFilm? And Axel answered it for me. So, but then my second question, you answered. The actual, like, using HitFilm question, right? So, and did I get everybody? Everybody got a chance to answer that? Frank, did you answer that?
Huh?
Are you've been using HitFilm since when and doing what? I don't even remember if you answered now. It's like,
Yeah, he's been 2012, right?
Is that what you said? Okay, 2012. I believe it. I don't know. I'm not even paying attention. Let's see here. Here's a question. CC Coder. I'm trying to change my set screen to my HDMI attached projector, but it was not highlighted. Something I'm doing wrong? I'm going to say if it's, for me, I have two monitors that I work with, and they're both, one of them is HDMI and one of them is something else. I don't even know. But they're both in Windows. I'm using Windows, and I have to set them up in Windows first to screen one, screen two, and then go from there. 2014, 2019. Oh, old school.
LMDB.
Old school. That goes way back. Here it is. I think Mike fielded my first question as well. Tracking some old footage, which I was never managed to pull off, by the way.
Yeah, that guy talks too much.
Express on Chromebook. I'm sure that'll run. Chromebook run Express.
I doubt it.
I'm gonna say my answer was probably no. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's.
But I'd have to go back and look. Registered effects, 2010. Woo, man, let's go. You guys, that's way old before me. Way before me. What did you guys use before you used HitFilm?
Vision Lab.
Bye, Chris. Vegas, which I still use as my editor, my primary editor. HitFilm, I was recovering from shoulder surgery, and it happened to be a bundle upgrade for Vegas, and it was when Sony was partnering out. It was just kind of like a midterm upgrade, and it was like I had the opportunity to get HitFilm Ultimate 2 for $199, and that was when it was still $399, and I really just wanted it for Mocha because I wanted to be able to do the fringe title text in the 3D tracking for wedding videos. And yeah, I bought HitFilm for Mocha and ended up loving HitFilm.
Terry and I
awesome.
are here. Pinnacle Studio 8. That's what I was using before I used HitFilm. And before that, believe it or not, I used Corel Lumiere. Remember that one? Nope, that goes back.
I used Premiere like 20 years ago, but there was a big gap where I really wasn't doing much video editing. And then I got the Mac, and iMovie, I'll deal with that for a while, and then really needed something that could just do, more interesting things. And HitFilm definitely does more interesting things.
Yeah. I had a question on my YouTube channel today. Somebody asked, what editor would you recommend using? And I said, HitFilm. Unless for some reason you don't want to use it, then pick a different one. But it is the same. Axel replies to everybody's first question. I think that's the rule. That's what we've learned. This is the brand new person. Axel, you're on it.
Yeah. Got an email box full of somebody signed up. Oh no! What's their first question going to be?
Here's another one. Actually, I only sent in one like technical support question, which he answered. This is like you submit it, but it was something really stupid. Like I can't believe this happened. I asked that question. And it was like, what happened to the environmental map viewer? It's gone. It isn't gone. It just changed names.
Whereas I think I've done around 3 support questions. One of them reported a bug on a particle simulator thing with deflectors, but every time I've had really fast responses from the support team, so it's been great. And I actually think Axel answered my first question that I asked through that. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think Phil, who is
from where my parents live.
Oh yeah.
Where I grew up. Back in the day.
Phil did what, Mike?
I was going to say, Phil, who was in the audience earlier, not only is he kind of doing all the web stuff for FX Home right now, but he's also one of the support guys.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I think H.265 import is probably one of his favorite new features too. Get a lot of support tickets on that.
Your favorite features are the ones that make you stop handling support tickets.
Yeah. That's why he wrote. That's like, thank God for H.265 encoding, right? Yeah, I can't imagine how many of those he got like daily that he had to answer. It's a copy paste reply kind of a thing.
Yeah, but now it's gonna be why is my H.265 footage slow? Because it's H.265.
Yeah. And
Windows Media Player plays it fine. That's not the same thing.
Yeah. And how come I can't export it as H.265?
Yeah, that's already come up, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. So, any updates to the templates or presets in HitFilm 16? There were some updates in 15, remember?
Yeah, I don't think there were any updates. CC, you came in a little bit late, so one thing that happened with HitFilm 16 is HitFilm is OpenGL based, and it used to be OpenGL 2, and HitFilm 16 switched it to OpenGL 4. So even though there aren't any new templates or presets in HF 16, one thing about it is almost everything has been rewritten. Every effects filter in HitFilm got recoded for this release. It is a whole new program. So I don't think they had time to do any new templates or presets because, I mean, they recoded everything.
Except
That's
Javert.
insane.
Javert sat there and worked on those light flares like a madman. You know, I mean, and when I talked to him, he's like, I got about 30 of these done, and I want to get up, you know, I want it to be over 60, you know. So he's just like, I'm just working like a dog, man, every day. I'm just coding more, you know. I'm just playing, I'm making them, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Oh, poor Javert having to do lens flares for a living.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. It's
Oh,
rough.
so sad. So sad.
One feature that we haven't talked about is the AAF importing and exporting kind of stuff. And I haven't played with that because I don't have any other software to export it or import it from or to. But have you guys messed with that at all?
Don't have any way to.
I did in testing, and AAF addresses that HitFilm hasn't played as well with others in the past, right? It's you can't get things back and forth, and AAF they're going to get more formats in on AAF. Right now, it's only you can import from Vegas and Resolve and Premiere, and you can only export to Premiere. And I know they want to get exports going to other systems. But the problem with AAF is it's not really a unified standard, and there are different implementations from different programs, which is why right now you can only export to Premiere. Working on it in beta, Premiere is the one that's working the best. Vegas, in fact, doesn't have AAF export anymore. It went away with version 18. It's just become a deprecated feature in Vegas. After Vegas 17, you can't even export AAF. So hopefully now that the groundwork on AAF is laid, they can move on to do XML, which seems to be a little bit more stable. But even AAF transfer is one of those things that a lot of people kind of misunderstand what it does. Because if I'm transferring an edit list between Resolve and Premiere and HitFilm and Vegas, all that AAF export is going to give me the cuts. And all the effects are going to go away. And this has to happen because maybe you're using the Lumetri effect in Premiere and you AAF it over to Vegas. Well, Vegas doesn't have a Lumetri effect. So, no effects, no transitions. It really is just moving your cuts over. And I mean, what the AAF is for is if you're working, and now Justin's going to nod. If you're in a larger production environment and the editor needs to send some stuff over to the animators to go do their, to do their effects and overlays on, it's really about the main editor being able to send me that scene so I can work on the special effects in context without having to recut the scene. And that's really what it's for. To with AAF, if I'm using AAF in Premiere, I'm doing my main work in Premiere. I'm just sending over the shots that I need to work on in HitFilm with a few scenes around it, so that I see the sequence in context, and that's what it's for.
That makes sense.
All
right, so I
had any experience with that, but the way that the last studio I worked at, they had a totally different process for passing, the scenes. They didn't actually give the effects people and even the animators like editor level stuff. We had just our Maya scene files that we just open up for individual shots we were working on. And so,
but
it wasn't even
you were at the animation end. You'd be earlier in the chain before they'd be passing off to the post compositors. So.
But even then, from what I saw in the studio, they didn't do any kind of literal editing, passing things around. It was just like, here's a shot, here's how long your shot is, here are the assets you need for that shot, and then that fits into the edit later on. But they don't get the actual cut as far as passing that around the studio.
And you were like an animator for VeggieTales and things like that.
Yeah, started on VeggieTales originally, and then moved on to some other stuff.
which was a really cool show. By the way, I
that
love
was
that
fun.
show. You did a great job on that. All right, Mike, can you answer this question? Exactly what's the difference with the motion blur settings now that the default shutter phase is -90?
Okay. What the difference is nothing. And this is an issue that kind of came up because some opinionated jerk on the forum kept bringing it up and making it an issue. And it turned out that that jerk was wrong. This guy. And the gang at FX Home made a minor change so that I would shut up. So with the motion blur, After Effects and some of the other 3D programs, you have the motion blur settings are the shutter phase and the shutter rotation. And it goes back to film shutters. You have a disc. There's literally a hole cut out. It spins, and it passes in front of the film as it goes by, and that's how cameras work. So the phase was, where were you in the rotation? In After Effects, a phase of 0 was the shutter was closed, and then 90 degrees was it turned 90 degrees so that the entire shutter was open. And that's what it meant in After Effects. And HitFilm and the other 3D apps that do that. And what HitFilm did was 0, the default value was the shutter open. So, and then the shutter phase was an offset of that. So they changed the shutter the shutter phase settings in the motion blur to that they default to -90, but it's really doing exactly the same thing. It's just kind of an offset in the interface so that 0 is now -90, and it's that simple. And if you open up an old project from before HitFilm 16, it'll still have the old motion blur settings, because really all the motion blur setting did is kind of do an offset in the dial. It's doing the same thing it did before.
Okay. So it just makes it look like some other program that does that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, BriTube. Hi, George Film. And I'll
Great to see you, man. Good to see you. Somebody asked here, wait a minute, where to go? Why sometimes, George asked, why sometimes I can't import movie files from Production Crate?
I can make a guess.
Sorry, Mike, was that?
I could make a guess. It was going to be probably the same thing you're thinking. Was the word media info in your head?
Well, partly, yeah. I mean, it's the codec they're using. I think they're using the animation codec to compress that stuff. And I tried that. A lot of early stuff I did, even with Production Crate's assets, I would have to transcode them or use the MP4s or whatever. I think the image sequence in some cases, but just the codec was something I couldn't, wasn't compatible. And I think a lot of their older stuff, they never went back and fixed it. So some of their older pieces probably still won't work as cleanly as some of the newer stuff will, where I think they've chosen a different codec.
I think they're using ProRes now.
Okay, yeah.
Which, everything has. And HitFilm, of course, can read ProRes natively. But George Film, I'm thinking that a lot of their older stuff might be the codecs that Justin brought up, like the animation codec. And to read those, you would have to actually install QuickTime 7 on your system, and you'd be going back and installing a buggy piece of Apple software from 2009 that they haven't bothered to update, that they've been trying to kill on the Mac as well. Yeah, and I think it's just codec. And
even on the Mac, it wasn't something I could read. You think a Mac file, the MOV, the movie file format there, you think that would be something. Okay, yeah, all the codecs are just available for every Mac system, and they're not.
I don't remember what version this happened, but one of the 10 point whatever revisions did kill the legacy codecs.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, so.
Well, it maybe not, because killing legacy codecs for things like DV and Digibeta, the people who do the Academy Awards montages every year, they're not using Final Cut anymore because they can't read those files. Right? If you can't read the legacy files, what have you done to the history of everything before 2005?
Yeah, that's true.
You have to rebuild them. But so what you're
that's
saying,
the archives of everything.
Yeah. So what you're that happens all the time though. I mean, when they went to make Toy Story 3, they're like, those old models from Toy Story 1 don't work anymore. We're going to build them from scratch again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for movies, it makes sense to make a new asset, but dropping legacy codec support is like, come on. The codec code is like half a megabyte, and we have terabytes of storage and whatever. Just keep supporting playback for the codec.
Right. Right. So what you're saying is it's most likely just issues with older MOV files on production crate and not the newer ones.
Whereas I had an issue similar to that, apart from it was a new asset that I'd imported, but for some reason HitFilm and is it the QuickTime Movie Importer thing didn't quite speak to each other correctly, because you have to have both of them installed, I think, in order for it to work. And then for some reason it just wouldn't let me import .movs, and then I just restarted the software and it started to work. So
So maybe a reboot would help. But it sounds like it's it's per one. I've never had a problem downloading anything off of production crate, so that would be. I don't know what I'd do if that happened. It's never happened to me before, so that's a really good question. Hey, Bobo, great to have you. The last version I had was 14.1. It's time to upgrade. Time to go.
It was.
Time to go. A lot of good stuff has happened here. All right, here. What is your dream feature in HitFilm?
Scripting. I want
markers.
Or I don't care if it's JavaScript or Python. Either of those two would be great. My preference is Python, but anyway.
Scripting. Markers.
Markers.
Frank, scripting, Python.
Yeah.
For Frank, scripting.
Yeah.
Give it to me and get out of the way. Watch me go.
I would also say arbitrarily being able to connect any attribute or property to any other property. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Nathan, what do you think?
I'd probably agree with Fancy Dude on this with the Roto Brush, but I'd also say scripting would be cool, especially in Python. And also the blinking properties thing, which is something I see like After Effects tutorials are like, oh yeah, then just parent the scale to this and then do that. And I'm like, I wish we could do that.
Yeah.
See, maybe I'm a masochist, but that whenever I see that use of the pick whip, that's always the one that makes me yawn. It's always like, and we'll set the position to time times 30. I'm like, or I'll just put a keyframe in.
Yeah.
Well, because that's always the example you bring up, but there are lots of other situations.
There are. The Andrew Kramer's script where he would move the particle emitter around, and depending over what part of the video it was on, where it would emit different things, right? He built the interactive gun thing where you move the point over the rock and it would do the rock puffs, and then you moved it over the water and it would do the splashes. That was really cool. There are absolutely great things for scripting, but the most widely is like, you don't need scripting for that.
Yeah.
You get Frank scripting and he'll be like,
Yeah, I think that there are certain things I'd like to be able to parent to a point that you can't parent to a point right now.
Yeah.
Like maybe the puppet tool, for example.
Puppet tool.
That'd be useful.
Particle forces and cubic deflectors.
Yeah.
I would love to parent those to points.
Right. Just little things like that, But overall, I'm very happy with the direction that HitFilm has moved and that sort of thing.
I keep wondering if any of this, the reprogramming they did of all the effects, in the process of doing that, I keep hoping in the back of my mind that they would expose some way to do some of the other cooler things aside from just having to reprogram it for the new version of OpenGL.
How so? I don't feel like I'm tracking that correctly.
Well, if it's just a matter of reprogramming this to OpenGL or the new version of OpenGL, that's cool. But maybe along the way, say, okay, we're going to now put things in here so you can connect properties to each other. Maybe expose, little connection points between them. Maybe they don't implement it right away, but if something like that, again, not knowing how they build this stuff, but if something like that is a quick addition to the code as they're doing the OpenGL tweak, stuff like that would be, kind of, handy to have, knowing that something like that could come down the road.
I think we're talking about the tutorial that's coming out. What do you think? BrideTube says, remember me? I had the video of the Bluetooth hose clip. Yes, I do remember that. 95,000 views.
Damn.
Man, that's crazy.
Never get 95,000 views on anything. I hate you.
I unfortunately have 95,000 views on only one video. And it's a video that I did with Film Empire, Jamie, where we did a effects war. Right, we did this collaborative effects war against each other, and I did this, fake spider thing on the roof, where the spider's on the roof, and then I put a bucket under it, and then I take the bucket down, and the spider's gone, and then you look in the bucket, and it's not there, and then you turn around, and here it is, on your on your face, kind of a thing, and it's a horrible video. I mean, it's terrible, but it has like 100,000 plus views, and people are like, that's so fake. I'm like, yeah, it says right there, it's an effect. It says it's a fake spider effect. It's so fake. I'm like, you're killing me, man. You're killing me.
You'll know you have made it if Captain Disillusion does a debunk of it.
Yeah. I'd like that. I'd like that. So, but it's like, oh man. It's so,
it'd be a very short Captain Disillusion episode because it'd be like, it's fake. The guy links to a tutorial.
Yeah, and it says it's fake in the description.
Yeah. I just saw a comment there from George, the Zordon effect thing.
Yeah,
I think I have it up on the screen briefly there. You talking about the thing I was showing earlier, George? Because that wasn't atomic particles. That was something not even particle related.
Something else.
Getting that done.
Except for one effect, it can be done in HitFilm Express, as you said, right?
Yeah, and it's really more of an effect that helps some of the setup of the process, not the process itself. The process itself it can be done purely in Express. The piece that I used that is not natively in HitFilm requires an add-on pack. Is just the clone effect to lay out this grid work of all those different things. And everything else I'm doing is just showing or hiding pieces of those grids.
Well, it's really cool. Yeah. And let's see, George, if you could answer that. Are you talking about what he just showed or something different?
Or some other thing I did ages ago.
That's it. Well, about an hour and 20 minutes in here, I think we ought to start thinking about wrapping it up. What do you guys think?
Sure.
I know we could talk all day about HitFilm. We love it.
We could. Let's see. I'm very quickly going through the new in version 16. Oh, you Mac guys, you got hardware decoding. Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dot tutorial. There you go.
Yeah.
Justin, how's that work for you?
It's not atomic particles.
Not atomic particles. Particle simulator.
Spoiler alert. That's pretty cool.
Right. BrideTube, to answer that question, I keep putting it off. Reboot of HitFilm University is coming. There is one last thing that I am waiting for because I can't say, but hey, Jay, Frank, and Justin, were you tempted to wear a different T-shirt today? Because that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah. Yeah.
So moving on.
So 3 people plus Nathan now know what I'm waiting for, but the rest of you will just have to wonder.
Yeah. And that's going to be cool.
Let's see.
Mike keeps said, I'm going to reboot HitFilm University as soon as the next version comes out. Version 12 comes out, I'm rebooting it, man.
That's
Yeah.
true. That was promised for quite a
13
while.
comes out.
Yeah, but what happened right around then? Some not fun things happened in life.
I know.
Yeah.
Version 14, I'm rebooting it, man.
Version
Here we
14,
go.
version 15. I'm going to reboot for version 15. I really mean it. Except, oh, yeah, hell. I'm supposed to be moving this year.
Yep. And then it's like version 25 is the version.
No, really, it'll be out this time.
Really? No. But it's HitFilm University is a masterpiece of work, and it is huge. I mean, those videos take forever to make.
You know, I got to be honest. Now that I've bought a new computer this year, because I haven't bought a new computer since 2015, and that'll probably help a lot because my prior computer, OBS does not work on it correctly. And I don't know why. You know, I can't get it to. I cannot get it to record the full HitFilm interface without glitches. I can only do the window and then none of the overlays and the pop-ups. And then the other screen recorders I was using that work, you know, that did well enough was BB Flashback. But BB Flashback records its own proprietary format, and you have to dump out of BB Flashback to MP4 before you can begin editing, but it does it at like 4-to-1 time, so it would take, like, if I spent an hour recording, it would take 4 hours to transcode, and by then
Ooh.
Wow.
yeah, it was just horrible and sucky, and then anything that had to do to go back, and the particle disintegration tutorial I did for FX Home, I mean, that took me almost 180 hours
Wow.
of time to produce that 15-minute tutorial, with problems, and then having to go back and R&D, and that just kind of killed me. And now it's like, oh, OBS actually works on this new computer, and it works like it's supposed to. And now it's like, oh, well, you know, now that I know that I'm not going to have this, you know, have to record one night and then just spend all night transcoding forever, maybe that'll help, because it's, you know, you get into the mode, and what would you do if you stop and record, and then you basically just like, I have no choice, I have to put this aside for a day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But it is, I'm saying HitFilm University is fantastic. When I did my Udemy course, my biggest problem was that I started on the course and I got about a third of the way through, and then HitFilm was updated. And the update included the complete new interface.
Right.
Oh, and I was like, "Oh, you guys are killing me." They haven't done a complete revamping of the interface for, you know, since it was like HitFilm 3. And the next thing you know, I'm like, I got to start over again. I can't have half of this tutorial in this interface and then another half in that. So I had to start completely over.
With the going joke, I mean, it really was going to be, okay, I'm going to start again with, I was finishing up 15, some tutorials, and then to recap for people who came in late, I did 4 months of testing for FX Home on a freelance contract. So I got my first look at HitFilm 16, and of course, what happened in HitFilm 16, they moved the export menu, they moved things in the interface again. I'm just like, I'm not doing an interface tutorial when they're going to move the interface in 2 months. Just lock the interface down.
But see, you knew that was coming.
Right. And then there's that other thing that I know is coming, which is the only reason I'm waiting is because I'm too lazy to rebrand twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. But, you know, what can I say? All right. So the question here is, how's my full-length film script coming along? It's coming slowly. Is how it's coming along. I've written about one third, but I know what I'm going to write. I just haven't, you know. I get roped into writing a series of martial arts articles for different magazines, and so now that has placed off to the side, so I can do that instead. So that has been that's been the major. It's not the fact that I'm not able to do it. I just, you know, there's a certain amount of time in my life. And like I said, my wife is referring to herself now as a HitFilm widow. So that's usually not good sign. So I need to, you know. Plus I teach martial arts and I do a bunch of other things too. So there is that. Let's see. Brian says, I found that there have been 2 updates since I started my Stormtrooper video. And that's right. That's what happens, right? You know, you're working your way through it, and the next thing you know, you get, oh, now I'm going to stop and learn all this and do this and that kind of thing. So,
overall, HitFilm's install model, where it just kind of over-installs over itself, that they've been doing since HitFilm 2017, I think in most cases that's generally a smart idea, because now I'm not having like 10 million copies of stuff on my old, and like I upgrade and delete, but there's still all the stuff prowling around in the registry. But there are a couple of cases where it does make things more difficult, and one is if you're doing tutorials and you're on a beta version, you have to uninstall and backstep. And another is, Lynn talks about this. Stargazer54 on the forum brings it up all the time. Never upgrade in the middle of a project, but you can't. Since you can't install HitFilm 15 and 16 side by side, I can't keep working on a project in 15 but open up 16 to kind of learn it for the next project. You either kind of get stuck sitting on a version until the project is done, which is never done, or you have to jump forward in the middle of the project and hope that everything works, and you better save an incremental backup.
Yeah, that's the key to it. You got to save a backup for the old version, because if you don't and it doesn't work, you're in deep trouble. You're gonna have to start over, basically. That's gonna happen. So
was that a knowing laugh there, Frank?
Yeah.
You only do that once, though, and then you never do that again. But it only takes once. That's the thing. So.
You've done that.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I think we've all done it at least exactly
Everyone's
one time.
done it.
Exactly one time.
Just once.
Just once, never again.
Mine wasn't that painful. That's the good news.
Oh, I get paranoid now whenever whenever I try to do the right thing and make redundant backups, because the only times I have hard drives crash is when I'm doing redundant backups. When it's like here's this old drive, and I'm going to back it up to 2 new drives, and all 3 drives are going to fail at the same time.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's my life.
I have never had that happen.
Oh, lucky man. Drive failures are terrible.
You shouldn't have
terrible,
said
man.
that.
Never had that happen.
Yeah.
I've got a dead drive that
Not good.
been working for ages, and it's got actually a lot of my old HitFilm projects on it.
That's a bummer, because you never know when you go back. And go, man, I forgot I even did that. Have you guys? Let me ask you this: have you ever had to go back to your own tutorial to find out how you did something?
Oh yes.
I do that all the time. Okay, I know how to do that, but I don't remember, so I'm just gonna go watch my own YouTube video on how to do it.
I forgot how to use the new pan, crop, and zoom tool the other day, and then I just watched my own video back and remembered it all.
I think I did one of the Hit U tutorials. The dripping text tutorial was done immediately after the idea of how to do it flashed into my brain, and I kind of made that entire tutorial so I wouldn't forget.
Yeah, there you go.
It was using Displace or something. Anyone heard anything?
I had lunch with Javert one time, and we were eating pizza, and I asked him that question, and he goes, "I have done that an embarrassingly great number of times."
And yes, BriTube, the strong tip is don't try not to update in the middle of a project. That's not always going to happen, but it always means that if I'm starting to work on something in two down from there, Jay.
There it is.
Yeah. So, like, if I start working on something in HitFilm 15 and then I upgrade to HitFilm 16, the first thing I'm going to open up that project in HitFilm 16, and the first thing I'm going to do is immediately save it out as project name HitFilm 16, so that I don't overwrite. And then if I have to revert, at least I don't lose the entire project.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. What I do is I just save it. I back it up. So, I copy and paste it somewhere else, and then I work from here.
Yeah.
So, but you wanna save as, and then update it that way. Yeah. And this is, project in 16, etc. and so on, right? And the other thing that I do all the time is I have backups. After every step, obviously you save it, but then every once in a while you save as another increment, right? In case I need to go back, right? Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in the middle of a project and they go, well, that totally screwed up everything and I have no idea how to fix it. So I have to go back now to a previous version of my project, and then you just delete them all when you're done with the project.
Yeah.
Well, with the last one. Right. So here you go. Has anybody heard anything about a new FX Home Masterclass?
Nope.
Mike is working on a master class on the particle trim. Yes.
Yeah. That is a big task.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was also going to do one on the 3D models, and then they added 2 new shader models and just made that a crap ton longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, in my Udemy masterclass, it's funny because it's called the Absolute Beginners Course on HitFilm Express. And the 2 biggest complaints that I get, one, how come there's nothing on Pro in here? I'm like, because it was on HitFilm Express. And 2, it's not advanced enough. I'm like, that's because it's for beginners, What can I say? If I did every last thing that you could possibly do, it would go on for thousands of hours, because there's so many things you can do in HitFilm. So this is just a beginner's course on how to get, how to do it, at least access everything. So there you go.
I think for FX Home, I'm sure they want to do more master classes, but it's just another one of those things that COVID has screwed up, right? Because we just came out of their Black Friday sale, and normally November for Black Friday, normally that's when they do whatever their big short of the year is, right? Last year we got Rise of the Dark Side and that beautiful stab through the chesty shot, and the year before that the Godzilla and the Halo jump, and FX Home didn't do their short of the year this year, and that's just because of COVID and lockdown. And I think that
it throws a monkey wrench.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're still working remotely, I think with FX Home, I think they only let only 1 or 2 people are allowed to be in the office at a time, and then they have to sterilize everything and clean up after themselves. So, and that's usually going to be Tom and Javert or Tom and Ollie, or Ollie and Javert if they need to go in and use the green screen or a prop. But they can't go in and film if coders are there, and that's got to slow down. I brought up twice that I got to do some testing for FX Home, and I wouldn't have if it wasn't for COVID. It was just the fact that, slow down and back and forth and whatever, things were getting behind enough. They're like, we need to farm out some testing, or we'll never get HitFilm 16 out this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, that opportunity only arose for me because they're really slowed down, everybody is.
And they have to adapt and change what they're doing. Yeah. And so you can't do everything the way that you did before, and some of the things you just flat can't do at all. So, but they have had some really nice master classes. I think that the gaming master class has been incredibly popular for them. The one that Ollie did, it's an excellent master class. If you're a guy who likes to do video gaming tutorials or video gaming videos, which I'm not, but I can see why people would love it. So, Stephen, great to have you, sir. Is the hardware encoder a plug-in that I can use in an older version of HitFilm?
No, it's baked in, pretty much.
Yeah.
The encoding and decoding stuff. Nothing is really extractable separate pieces. Oh, I can pull this out of this or here, use it in the prior version. It's never been that way.
Well, even more the point, it's a hardware encoder, so it's the CPU or GPU in your computer have to support it. It's not a software thing. But what they're doing is, NVIDIA has their own little decoder, and now HitFilm can read it. And, Apple has their own hardware decoding protocol, and now HitFilm can use it.
Yeah. Their FX Home's Harry Potter tutorials were fantastic. And that was way back in HitFilm 2 Ultimate also.
Some of those. Oh, the 2 spells colliding, and they've got they cast these great actors. They cast this perfect kind of scared looking dude and this coldly beautiful woman, and then the sparks hitting and bouncing off the floor. Man, that's a great tutorial. I love that one.
Yeah. Thank you, CC Coder. Appreciate it. How about this one? Have you guys experienced crashes when opening the custom light flare interface?
I have not.
I don't use it, so.
I have not, and I played with it extensively this morning for the first time. And like I showed on my on wait a minute, this light flare in the background is the preset. It's the distant sun preset. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's I just literally dropped it in there and said, "Let's just see how it looks." I'm like, "Wow, looks pretty good." I didn't even mess with it. So,
You can show my screen for a second, Jay. Thank you. New phone case design and Cyberman. It should look like that on the case, and the case has been like in transit for 2 weeks, and hopefully it'll show up today because the phone is here and I won't touch it until the new case is there, so I don't drop it. Anyway, point being, I spent like over an hour playing with lens flares to do the lens flare in the eye, and then I just went back to the default. I was like, honestly, that default flare is just doing what I want it to do, and why mess around with I kept trying to I would raise and more halos, and I'd be like, honestly, Javert's default flare just does what needs to be done for this image.
that's what I thought. He obviously spent a lot of time on these, and he did. They're just a beautiful job of it. I mean, they're amazing. So
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They're really good, actually.
Yeah, I remember Frank, you and Jay's reaction the first time you saw the demo
Yeah.
Because
on the Ambassador stream, and it was just you immediately like, ooh, I want it now. I'm like, yeah.
Because, dude, as soon as I got it, can I share my screen with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wait a minute, I don't see your screen here yet. You'll have to hit sharing it first. But yeah, so ambassadors for HitFilm get together every couple of months and just talk about things that are going on. And in that stream, Javert showed a couple of those, and everybody was like, "Wow, those are really cool, man!" There you go. You ready, Frank?
Yeah. This is one of the presets, dude.
One, my bad. There we go. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is just one of the presets. Doing all that stuff right there. But I mean, there's a bunch of other things going on, but it's just here comes the flare, right there. And it's really subtle, dude. Look what it does all by itself. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That is fantastic.
But all by itself.
Yeah, and all the image textures that Javert's using.
I just threw it on there, and it's doing everything on its own.
Yeah, these are so lovely. I can't wait to play with these more and more. You know what I mean? Those are fantastic.
Can you show my screen for a second, Jay? So the thing that Frank just showed is something that Frank started after I showed him this thing that I started working on. Note the HitFilm emblem in Iron Man's chest, and then Frank, that son of a gun, had to go and make his look so much better. I kind of stopped on this shot. I'm just like, damn it, Frank, I can't match that. No, also I'm still repainting the I'm still repainting the maps on this, and there's the one other thing I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Also, sorry to butt in here, but I've just suddenly realised something. The issue that Fancy Dude was having with the custom light flare interface thing.
Yes.
I'm just going to quickly share my screen if that's all right.
Sure. Let me find it. Wait a minute. Where is it? Here we go.
Okay.
Wait, that's not it. Here it is.
Yep.
This is the one I'm looking for.
I've just created this new project. If I now just grab the flare engine, that on a new plane, and then just click on the options button, the light flare screen should appear. Can you see that? I don't know if that's clear.
Yep.
However, if you click on the box next to options and then click on the options button. Last time I did that, it crashed. I don't know why it's not doing that now. But I
Really?
had that same issue with deflectors a bit ago, and then I reported it, and then it got fixed. It's now working, but it wasn't a minute ago.
Well, that could be a big deal. So that's good to know.
No,
Oh,
part of the recode seems to have affected the way certain things in the interface work. Like in the effects list, have you noticed that if I drag, Jay, go ahead and bring my screen up.
Okay.
You know, here just for sake of argument. So, is anybody else getting what I'm getting? Say if I drag this fractal noise and I grab the text and drag it down, it doesn't always drop in. Sometimes it just, it just won't, and sometimes I have to actually drag from the actual icon, and it seems to happen more if I've got, for the second effect on a layer, but it's not going to do it now, right? Just like it didn't for Nathan. When Nathan said, "There's a problem, but it's going to work perfectly now," and be like, "Is anybody else having this problem?" No, it's going to work perfectly.
I actually have that problem also. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll drag something on, and then I'll keep going, and I'll go, "Wait, where'd it go? I thought it was in there." Yeah. Because I'm working fast, and I don't even pay attention to whether it actually went in there or not. And the next thing you know, it's like, didn't I put that in there? Yeah. So I'm with you on that. That happens to me. Has anybody else had that happen?
I think I had it once, but I didn't really notice it, and I thought I forgot to click down my mouse button. So
the other thing that I do a lot is I'll highlight and then double click an effect to drop it in. Okay, so I've noticed that sometimes it doesn't drop in when I do the double click either, and that's a newer effect that came in HitFilm 15, I believe. So.
Oh, we're back. I think.
Fazio!
Are we back?
Do we leave?
I think it could have just been an internet thing at my end. Everything on the StreamYard suddenly went black to a loading bar.
All right, wait a minute. What are the ranks? What are the ranks on the forum?
Beats the hell out of me. I don't know.
In the forum, there are different. The forum is new. How do you guys like the new forum? First of all, let me ask you that question. How do you guys like the new forum for FX Home?
It's pretty good. It's all right.
There's a lot more functionality and a few things in it I like. It is slower to load, which I think is largely due to the fact that it's loading a lot more data now, right? It's loading RTF, and RTF is a data-heavy format instead of just being plain HTML text anymore. I think they need to do some improvements on the linking the rest of the forum, or linking the rest of the site to the forum, because right now the forum feels different to me. So there's a question that's coming up on the right. Where is it? Dafter Things. Okay, just right underneath a few underneath. And Dafter Things asking, are there FX Home asset files for the logo anywhere? And the answer to that, Tony, is yes, there are, and they're at fxhome.com/press. /press. But you see, in the old forum, there used to be, if you scrolled all the way down to the bottom of the forum, you would get all the links to company and home, careers, contact us, press, support, and license retrieval, and all those links were at the bottom of the forum, and they're not anymore. Now you actually have to back out to just fxhome.com to get to those links, and that makes it just a little bit harder to find, right? Because I can't just, if you're in the forum, I can't just be like, yeah, where are the press kits? Oh, scroll down to the bottom and click on the thing that says press. It's not there.
Yeah.
It's somewhere else.
Yeah, what you were going to say, Justin?
No, that was it. I mean, as far as the press kit thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it used to be in the old forum, if I clicked on my username in a thread, it would immediately go to my account page where my installers and my serial codes were. And now I go to the profile page where I get to see all my forum stats and be like, oh my God, I have literally posted on this forum 3 times more than anybody else. Not much of an exaggeration, but now I have to go somewhere else to get to my my login information.
Yeah, and you are the most prolific speaker on the forum.
18,300 posts. Number 2 is Axel with just under 8,000.
Wow. Wow. I don't know how many I have. I'd have to look it up. I can tell you though. Probably
2,500-ish, I think.
I have 13.
13.
Well, I only kind of got into using the forums earlier on this year when it was kind of completely redone.
Right.
Because
I don't blame you because it's really a good, you know, I think it's a great improvement. I'm really pleased with the, I have, 2,300 roughly. So there you go.
And Terry, can you place the flares behind a model? Yeah, you can, but I mean, there's still 2D flares. So if you remember, like Simon's old tutorials on compositing volumetric light, or Simon's old tutorials, like for the HitFilm 2 trailer, on how he did the light rays and the flares on that, the same techniques apply, because the new flares are just like the old flares rendering to a layer. There's just a lot more options for building them, and then they're beautiful.
Yes, they are. But basically, it's the same as before. And who'd you say did the tutorial? It was originally Simon who did the tutorial on that.
Yeah, there's a Simon tutorial, volumetric lighting in HitFilm 2, and then it's...
I want to say
because I referred that to someone.
Didn't Greg do one also on that?
I think he did, and there's another one he did, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's all about the old... I've got a great idea for a film trailer, and it was how he did the volumetrics and the flares in that, and I just trying to remember what the name of the tutorial is called. I still think the I've got a great idea for a film is the best ad I've ever seen for a visual effect.
Adapter says the search is so much better in the new form.
It works. It works.
Yep.
It actually works.
Yeah, yeah. And I personally like the fact that you can, private message people now again, like you used to be able to. That's really nice. You can vote up features. That I think is a huge factor. And of course you can like and dislike and LOL and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
Personally, I feel like it's a bit more welcoming than it used to be, because now it does kind of have like you're aiming towards something. Like you can get your different ranks by posting certain things, which kind of almost invites people who aren't necessarily people who would normally just go out of their way to start posting things to kind of think, oh, well, you've rewarded for doing this, so, you may as well do it.
Yeah. Well, I got a badge for 250 likes. I'm like, wow. Who else has that badge? Mike. But he got his like 3 months ago. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of likes. I like it. That's pretty cool. So
It just means I do too much stuff.
yeah,
I'm just curious now. So I've actually just signed into my other HitFilm forum account, which it's been so long since I've used it, I forgot what it was called. Oh, that's what it was called. And now I'm going to go take a look at the forum and see what happens when you have see what happens. It's basically a brand new account, right? No forum. I never posted with it. The only reason it exists is back when HitFilm 2 Express came out, and I downloaded it with a different email address. So, yeah, it's kind of, now I get to see what happens if I be like brand new account.
Probably because you're from the UK. Okay.
Oh, wow, all of those controls are gone.
Thanks, Tony, for being here. Well, great to have you, and love to have you back on the stream sometime, or on the live stream. Apart from Black Friday, has it affected HitFilm? This is a good question. Has the COVID affected HitFilm? Yeah, it's affected everybody, and it's affected those guys too. So, and some, I think I would guess that more people have downloaded it because they're doing more stuff at home on their computer. But we'd rather not have it. So, Andy, it's great to have you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Definitely check out
Andy.
It is a great place. There are so many friendly people there. It's just a wonderful place to hang out. It's perhaps the most friendly place on the internet.
It's just the dislike and like button are really close to each other. way too close. No, like, just so you know. Put them away.
It is easy to hit the wrong one.
I've almost done it a couple of times. I'm like, whoa.
I never looked at the stats. I have more dislikes than likes. Boy, I hate when that happens. Maybe they're missing. They're hitting it wrong. Come on.
I think that was probably due to one particular troll.
Well, that could be. That could be. Listen, anytime I post a video, a tutorial, every tutorial starts off with a dislike, like immediately.
Right?
Yes.
Like, who does
and
that?
then, like my most recent tutorial, okay, has. I'm gonna tell you what it's got. Here it is. My most recent tutorial started off with 0 likes and 1 dislike, and now it has 142 likes and 1 dislike. It just, that's how it goes, you know. So I have somebody who
is that guy?
I have no idea.
But the funny thing is, if it's always first, he's got to be subscribed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And what people don't know is, and this is the best part, is that YouTube doesn't care whether it's a like or a dislike or a share or a comment. If it's an engagement, and YouTube counts the number of engagements for their algorithm. So the more dislikes you get, the better, right? So I'm like, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you don't like this video, hit the dislike button. You know, because it's always helps your channel when somebody is engaging in your content. And that's the funny part. And I love that. I love that about that. So there it is. That's all I have to say about that. All right, I think we covered everything that was important. I haven't done. Does anybody have any other important things that you think we ought to talk about?
Image sequence. Image sequence.
Image sequence?
I don't like that you have to rename it or whatever. It comes in with like 00000000000.
I haven't done that yet. I haven't tried to bring an image sequence in, so that's a good thing to try.
I'll have to take a look at that.
I haven't done it.
Numbering from the files.
I don't name when I export an image sequence. I don't name the files themselves. I name the folder.
Oh sure.
Yeah, that's what I usually do.
Is giving you the number.
Export a sequence.
Yeah. So now when
importing one.
Yeah, when you import it, what I'm like, say I've exported somewhere else, bring it into HitFilm. When you bring it into HitFilm, it comes in with an image name, which is a bunch of zeros and a 1 and whatever comes next.
Huh.
So it just is, yeah, it's the name of the first file in the folder, right? The first frame, basically.
Yeah.
Are the season 3 guests a secret? That's a good question. The answer is, I guess so, because I don't even know.
Don't know who they are yet.
We're gonna do this week by week. So here's a question: what would you like to see happen in season 3? Next, well, we did abandoned projects. That was a really popular one. We did verses. We did verses. Where we challenged each other to do an effect live. The most popular one we did was Mike's review of models in HitFilm. Right, that was a hugely popular. People still go back and watch that one all the time. So what?
God help them! It's 3 hours long of rambling.
It's about 2.5 hours long. It does go a while. So,
once you cut out all the ums, it's down to 45 minutes of content.
Yeah. So the guests are not set in advance. That's right. I have no. Usually I beg and plead people to come on my show. That's usually Aiden. Oh, I'd love to get Aiden on. It's. I have
time now.
I have a funny story about him because when he and I started our channels at the same time, and we both got to about 6,000 subscribers at the same time. And now I have like 9,000, and he has like 800 million subscribers. I don't know what he's got, but he's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And I'm like, what went horribly wrong here for me? You know, we were tracking so closely together. But he is an incredibly talented young man. And so I would love to have him on my show.
It's also when Aiden pivoted away from doing tutorials and started doing his nature vlogs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he really, because Aiden hasn't done a tutorial in a long time. And he's obviously hit better with his audience with the travel blogs, and I mean he's always known how to point a camera. I mean, one of the first things I remember from Aiden is one of his early tests, and he had put the GoPro on one of those FlexiPods, and he's attached it to the inside of the refrigerator. Right, and it was the great shot where it opened up, and then he poked around and looked inside, and I was just like, that kid has got some talent. He is going to go somewhere. Look at that shot. I wish I thought of that.
He's got it going on over there, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. He's really good. He's a really talented young man. And he's a pleasure and a joy to talk with also. You know, I mean, he's young. He's extremely articulate, very intelligent.
You know, and it's really Aiden who figured out the planes workaround for markers that we still tell everybody to use to this day. And that was,
Yeah.
I was using text objects. I'm like, planes is simpler.
Planes makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I was using text objects, which is the similar thing, but a text object I have to, type it in a plane. It takes less time to use a plane.
Just
so
there.
it's like
that's right. That's
and it reads better on the timeline with the color codes. Like, wow, you brat.
Yeah. Versus sounds cool. Thank you. It was fun. We did. Justin was in that, and Mike was in that. Terry was Terry in that also. That one takes some guts though, because you're gonna be put on the spot, right? You know that your fellow VFXers are going to give you something, and we promise not to make it too hard or something that would take 3 hours to do, but something that's sneaky fun, right? And I have one. I have a new versus challenge ready to go. We got to do this again.
Sign me up.
I tried to talk Simon Jones into the last VFX challenge, and he was just like, "No, I'm too rusty."
Yeah. Well, I told you I tried to talk Javert into doing it on the HitFilm channel, and they're like, I don't know, it could go horribly off the rails quickly. That's what we're worried about. And I'm like, I don't care. If things go off the rails, they go off the rails.
Well, yeah, but we're having fun, and they are as awesome as FX Home is. It's still a business, and there are still a lot of business decisions behind that.
Exactly. How about a script reading? When you want us to read Ferris Bueller's Day Off, we could just take a word.
Read your script, Jay.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Should be a test reading of the first third.
Yeah, at least 1/3 of the script, right?
We'll do some Hamlet.
Ew.
Yeah, there you go. I enjoyed you all showing your flair on screen. How you all do things is different, so it's great to see how to and live feedback at the same time. It does make sense.
I like that.
Because everybody does things a little bit differently, and that it's nice to see how other people do things, because then you say, man, I probably should be doing it like that too. I don't know why I was doing it the other way, so
yeah, I work on something that takes like 5 comp shots and Nest to do, and then Justin figures out how to do it on a layer.
Yeah, in one comp.
Or Jay, yours with the dial with the light, right? That one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was just the little thing coming over, and when it touched that plane and I had a threshold on it, it would make it light up because it's either on or off, and
so rewatch that.
Cause the light to show up on the thing. Yeah,
I never would have figured that one out. I think that's my favorite tip of 2020. Which would give you my favorite tip of the year for 2 years in a row, Jay.
What? No.
Yeah, because remember I had the one on 2019. I'm like, that's my favorite hint of the year, and it was you last year too.
Was it? I don't even remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was either, but I remember it was you.
I remember that you liked the lightsaber drawing thing, but that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a fun time though. Here we go. Good question.
That would probably be a no since it overwrites.
Yeah, but you can. Well,
But you should have the old motion tracking. The old motion tracking hasn't been removed. They've just added the motion path and the
Oh yeah.
the effect that we keep forgetting what it's called on top of that. So I mean, the old tracking tab is still there.
I think it is. I think it is. I don't think that changes.
Yeah.
Because
it's called motion track.
motion tracking.
Yeah, that's what
would have it. So I think that they've just built on more.
Yeah, it's still
been recoded completely.
Yeah, no, it's still there. I think it's just by default now the old tracker window may be off, and you might have to go up into the Windows menu and turn the track window on so you can see it. Hi,
Courtney. Hi, Courtney. Oh, nice elf ears.
Oh, hi guys. Just got home from work.
That kiss was loud and
All
clear.
fitted up.
Oh, it looks lovely. What do you do at work?
Gatorland.
Justin.
Right.
High five, dude. I like Justin. He's so funny.
I'm going to assume that Court was not doing a mermaid show today because otherwise those ears would not. I don't buy the ears staying on in the water.
Tell me he don't look like Logan.
Oh yeah, you know.
Maybe
Only
Totally,
younger.
Totally. You could totally rock some claws, dude.
There you
I
go.
see it. You got some Hugh Jackman going on.
No, I don't mean like he just looks like a Wolverine in general, but
Well, you know, Justin's a little scruffier today than the last time I saw him, and Jay's grown his goatee back, and I actually shaved for this.
mine
No,
don't
you
grow,
appreciate it.
dude. Mine don't grow right here.
Yeah.
They
This
don't
doesn't happen, huh?
Wow.
Can I have some?
It, you know,
You
it can happen. If I grow it all out, it's definitely a lot lighter out here on the sides. I mean, you know, you can just see that that's much denser there, and everything else isn't. It's weird. Who knows?
Mine is dense everywhere. I got to keep it going. I got to keep shaving. It's too much. It's too much. Yeah. Mine's like Justin's over there. Looks good.
Yeah, this is
Didn't take.
kind of scratchy after a while. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it because my wife loves it, and just want to see how long I can go before I really get tired of it.
But you're being a good hubby, so there you go.
Puberty.
There you go. It'll happen. Don't worry. Hey, HitFilm, good to see you. What did I miss? About the first 2 hours.
Nothing.
No, I'm not much. We're just
Nothing at
asking
all.
Islands.
what requests anybody would like to provide for future weeks here in season 3. What would you like to see? The biggest one we have so far is Versus. Versus sounds cool. Another Versus.
I like the old projects, the abandoned projects I did.
Abandoned projects. That was fun. That was fun. I just remember Greg saying, you were like, Greg, show us another one. He goes, my entire hard drive is filled with nothing but abandoned projects. That's all I've got on there. Because every project I've ever started, I abandoned at some point. You know.
You know,
So-
I'll start a new project and then abandon it just to set up that live stream.
There you go. Here it is. I have a lens flare on a plane. All right, I'm done with that project. Let's move on.
All right. Yeah.
Don't forget to save.
Oh yeah.
Wait! You put a lens flare on that plane? I got bored after the plane.
You gotta-
I needed it to be green. I created it in black. I didn't feel like clicking properties. I'm done.
There you go. I'm in. That looks pretty cool, Mike.
It's an abandoned project.
Here, you want to share it?
Sure, why not?
There it is.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so cool.
So this was using Face Builder, which is a Blender add-on, and you use source photos and you use it to make your own face. And I kind of put it together and did a test render in HitFilm, and I guess it counts as an abandoned project because I've never patched these texture holes at the bottom or fixed where the texture of the nose isn't lining up with my nostril correctly, and I never split out the material so that the eyes aren't dead and glazed and zombie-like, but would actually have some shine to them. So I'm guessing that counts as an abandoned project.
It looks good though.
It does, but it's not abandoned because you're still working on it, right?
Well, it goes with. Oh, I'm on a different computer now. The wallpaper on my prior computer was part of the abandoned project because that's the half-built digital double me with the photogrammetry, and eventually I will make the digital stunt double mic, and it'll be that head, and then I don't know, I'll either use MC Character Creator or Make Human or something, and to do the body, because photogrammetry was a pain in the butt. And,
Make
I don't
Human
know.
will do it, and then
Buy
you
a
could
T-shirt
have your
from
own-
Daz and build my own texture.
Yeah, well, and you can, you can put it in Mixamo and have yourself basically do anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do. You could do capoeira. Because I know you've always wanted to do that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Isn't that everyone's like long time goal in life to do that dance?
Yeah, so if anybody has any other ideas that you'd like, abandoned projects and versus are two they were experiments last season that I thought, well, let's try it and see what happens, and they ended up being a whole lot of fun. They ended up being really fun. So maybe we'll do both of those this season again, and any other things that you'd like to play around with. I did have a thing I was going to ask. What was it? I don't know. I thought I had it here, and now I don't know.
It'll come up.
Well, I thought I saw it here, but now
They'll remember in a second.
Yeah, I'll remember after I'm done. Right?
Right.
Absolutely, I'm sure.
If you want to look at your notes, I can tell a quick story of a HitFilm feature that I got killed.
Okay, you got killed.
Really?
You personally got a HitFilm feature killed.
I did.
Oh, nice.
I did. And
right.
it was in the 3D model import. They were going to change the behavior of 3D model imports so that models no longer came in auto-normalized and came in to the object scale.
Ooh.
And I kind of thought this was a terrible idea. And I spent 3 days testing it and putting together why I thought it was a terrible idea. And I think they eventually agreed it was a terrible idea, but not for the reasons that I was thinking it was a terrible idea. Well, no, because right now everything comes in HitFilm normalized, and it's about 500 pixels. Everything fits. If you bring a model in HitFilm, it'll resize to fit in a 500 by 500 by 500 cube. And then we're going to turn that behavior off, but we were running into problems because 3ds, LWO, and OBJ do not store scale information in the file format. So if you build something in Blender at a scale, and then save it out at a scale, when it comes into HitFilm in those formats, it always comes in at 1 meter scale no matter what you built. And FBX always comes in at 1 centimeter scale. So FBXs were coming in at a different size from every other format. And then the other thing that I demonstrated is, what if you've done something like a photogrammetry landscape and it's one of those things that's huge and it comes in not to scale and you drop it in your window and you just can't see it because it's extending past the whole bounds of the window and it's not centered. So eventually they changed the behavior. And part of the argument also was, if you know what you're doing and you want to, and you've built your models to scale and you built them to scale and you know what you're doing, then yes, you should be able to override that. But if you are the average user and you're just bringing in a bunch of models you downloaded off TurboSquid and Sketchfab, and it's all different stuff, really just bring it all in at that 500 pixel cube so I can see it on screen and let me scale it to the scene when I'm building it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've brought in models and I go, I'm going to turn that off. It's really big. So then I back up so that I can see it, and then I back past the clipping. So, and now I can see it. I'm like, well, this isn't going to work. I can't see it at all. And there's no way to change the clipping settings in the preview window for models. So you're like, it's not going to work. So
and that was one of the arguments I did. I found some models that were so big that when it came in defaulting to not to scale, they didn't show in the preview window, and I'm like sending those out. And then Tony C helped, and I actually got a little bit of assistance from Mojo Lebowitz, who was nice enough to build some cubes for me from Lightwave, just to build all these cubes in 3ds and LWO and FBX, and build me the 1 centimeter cube at 1 centimeter scale, and build me a 1 meter cube at 1 meter scale. And it was all this testing, and it was like, okay, I know this cube is a 1 kilometer cube built at 1 kilometer because it loads into Blender and does that. But when I load it into HitFilm, it becomes 1 meter and it was.
Wow, that's really fascinating. That's really fascinating. Frank,
Yeah, it was.
made in HitFilm Pro 16, the twerking
Like-
Iron Man.
Like I know you guys were talking about it earlier, but even when there's a beta, I use it for work. Even if things break, because compiling. I don't know, man. It's the easiest thing to do, and there's always a workaround.
Yeah, I don't.
Whenever there's a glitch, it don't matter. They'll fix it. The devs, the HitFilm guys, they'll fix it.
Yeah, that's true. I don't, but I'm not a beta tester, so that makes it simpler.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
so-
not? I thought you were.
Isn't it? I keep thinking he is too, and it's like
What?
we need to start a hashtag. You know, for
Hashtag.
film Sensei FXO. Make film
Sensei
Sensei
tester.
Beta Sensei.
Let the guy be a beta tester. Come on.
That one's for you, Justin.
I see it there, and I'm the wrong person for that question. I'm not a camera guy. I'm not sure what I might have done to create the impression I might be a camera guy, but I'm not a camera guy.
Your presence, you're incredibly photogenic.
Maybe. I look good on camera. It doesn't mean I know how to use it. No. I've never really had a preference for, even when I had a Fuji, it wasn't even a DSLR. I haven't had a real camera in years. I've never gone shopping for cameras. I can't afford a camera. So, yeah, the cameras are out of my zone of interest at the moment and have been for years now.
Not mine either. I'm not a camera guy either.
Personally, I quite like Nikon
absolutely.
cameras.
I see the follow-up there. Open it up to everybody.
You like which cameras, Nathan?
I like Nikon cameras personally, although that might be because I've been using them for a while now.
Getting locked into the ecosystem is a real thing. I'm a Canon guy, but a lot of that is having been a Canon guy for almost 20 years. If I were starting today, I would probably be looking at a Sony or a Panasonic.
So you use Canon to film and shoot with today?
Well, no, this is a Logitech camera, but my camera is, Canon. My primary still camera is a Canon 5D Mark IV. I've got a bunch of lenses for that. My secondary DSLR is another Canon. Even my ENG camera, my last one is a Canon XF305. That's actually out on a shoot today, being rented out today for a 3-cam broadcast shoot.
What are the rest of you guys
more durable? Sorry?
Your phone?
My phone is my camera, seriously.
Your phone is your camera?
Years.
Nathan, what do you use when you shoot?
I use my Nikon D3300, which is the camera that I've had for a few years now, that I got when I started doing my photography at school and stuff. So I've kind of just been using that because it has HD video at, I think, 60 frames per second. So it's kind of the standard size. I don't have like 4K or anything like that because personally I don't really need it. I have used a Sony before, however, it was a fairly old one, so it couldn't do filming, which was one of my main reasons for using the Nikon one, because it was reasonably priced and it could film video. So,
and Frank, what do you shoot with?
I don't.
You don't shoot?
I don't. I have a phone, but I don't have a camera anymore.
I used
Frank's
to shoot
an animator.
I used to shoot with my phone, but now I have a Nikon D3500.
Courtney has a camera.
Yeah, I saw it. It was a lovely camera too.
Yeah. The phone case I'm waiting for actually is the new phone is the the OnePlus 7T. But one of the reasons I chose that particular phone was its camera lineup. That really is. It's like, okay, what are the phone cameras like? Because otherwise, it makes phone calls and yeah.
Can you import a Premiere Pro timeline into HitFilm?
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, so I'll ramble it out quickly. So this is the AAF import. So the import Premiere timelines into HitFilm, AAF import is an interchange file format, and the only thing you're going to get from it is cuts. You're not going to get any effects. You're not going to get any transitions, and that just basically comes down to, maybe you do something in Premiere with Lumetri and you move it over to HitFilm. HitFilm doesn't have Lumetri, so that can't transfer. So that is, if you want to, if you've got your Premiere timeline, you would be able to export sections of your Premiere timeline to take into HitFilm, so that the VFX shots you do in HitFilm you can see in the context of the scene around it, and that's really what that's for.
Yep, exactly. Nathan, was that for shoots?
I use a Nikon D3300 DSLR camera. It was reasonably priced, so.
And those that you're filming for, what are you filming for?
I'm normally YouTube videos, just the small clips for doing visual effects tests and things for. Nothing too. I was hoping to make like a full short film this year, but
Great.
of course I kind of got
2020.
yeah.
Next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Next year.
So yeah, mostly small projects.
Canon T2i. That goes back a little ways. Cool pics.
I had one of them.
Thanks, Nathan.
That's all right.
Yeah. All right. Any last comments
Cool.
about HitFilm 16?
Last comments about HitFilm 16.
Yeah, Mike, I'll let you go first.
Oh boy, I will.
It's because my video is so far behind, so I feel like the timing is terrible.
I will tease you with, there are some things that I got to play with that did not make it into HitFilm 16 that will hopefully make it into HitFilm 17. And make no mistake, HitFilm 16 is the most significant update to the software since at least HitFilm 2017, when they added keyframes to the. It might be the most significant update to HitFilm since HitFilm 1. And that's just the OpenGL, the upgrading the core engine and recoding the entire thing makes it that, and then the AAF. And because that sets the groundwork for a lot of other stuff. There's some more 3D stuff coming that I know that, again, Jay, you, Frank, and I think Justin, I think you were on that meeting that Josh told us about. So you guys know that's coming next year. And then there are some other things that are coming that are real, a couple of neat new effects that I can't talk about, a couple of ease of life and workflow things that I can't talk about. Somebody asked earlier, more codecs are coming that I can't talk about. I know CC Coder asked about more transitions and presets. Yes, there are more transitions and presets coming. I just can't tell you what they are. I will give you a hint that one of them makes one of Justin's tutorials obsolete.
Interesting.
Hey now.
No, but don't worry about it, because they've done that to me too. I've had times you just made that a feature.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All
right.
It is now.
Justin, any last comments about HitFilm 16?
Not really. I mean, it's cool. And it's funny because a lot of the features that most people are really interested, I'm not interested in at all. I don't do things with lens flares. I don't do things with models. And so it's like, I don't know. It's cool. It's got some good stuff. I like the new things that I do use mostly right now. It's just been the frame export, import automation there and some of that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, you make a lot of assets to export and bring back in to do motion graphics, right? So for you, that's just got to be a massive time saver.
Oh, yeah. Like all the dice images. I made comps to build the dice images and then bam, 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 export those and bring them back in immediately. It just saves so much time not having to just navigate to the hard drive, dozens of times over.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my biggest favorite things right there is part of the things that most people are probably going to gloss over. But anyway, everybody's different. So
Frank?
Keep adding stuff to it. It'll just anything you add to HitFilm, do it. Get out of the way. Give it to me. Let me use it.
Yes. Use it.
Because everything they add to it just makes it simpler. That's it. Just use it.
Yeah, simpler and more powerful.
It's an awesome program.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is give it to me. Give it to me. Now.
All right, Nathan, what do you think?
I love this update. Probably because recently, especially as I've been really busy with schoolwork and things, um, creating scenes in 3D has been how I've been creating videos more recently. So the ability to have more accurate looking like texture models and all sorts of things like that is really good. I also really like the updated lens flares because lens flares are awesome. Um, and I also like the voice recorder and frame export because that will save a lot of time, especially for making tutorials and graphic-y things.
Definitely. Mike is looking at the comments. Which one are you looking at there?
I'm going to hit 3 of them very quickly. M. Lucky, one more thing. When they mention improved use of After Effects plugins, what are they talking about? So there are certain effects plugins that can be used. They've just been improved. They've been debugged. They work better now. So like the Video Copilot optical flares could not be parented to a point. I think they have that working now. They've improved the way they just. If Gray Motion were still in the comments, I'd ask him about it because I think he's the person I can think of who uses the most AE plugins. I don't put AE plugins in my HitFilm. You know, I don't like chocolate on my peanut butter or something like that. I don't know, or peanut butter on my except I love chocolate on my peanut butter or peanut butter in my chocolate, but I don't like AE plugins in my HitFilm.
Yeah, you should ask that question on the forum, by the way, and Greg will answer that. He's always talking about the AE plugins. He loves them.
Brightube, the best time to buy HitFilm Pro was 2 weeks ago during their biggest sale ever. But look for the next. It's just better to do it when we don't know what the latest versions are gonna be. The best time to buy is when you can find the best price, and that's usually the Black Friday sale.
Or maybe summer.
Or the next big sale will be probably around May, and then where was it? Fancy Dude, Javert. Javert was talking about a new glow option that will make glows look better in the Doom sequence tutorials. That's something that didn't make it into HitFilm 16. Yes, and hopefully we'll make it into 17. And it is it's the Super Glow, and it's pretty nice.
Yes, absolutely. And I saw one more. I don't know where I saw it. Maybe I
can describe Super Glow as, I don't know if everybody will get this. I think Jay will get this. The Super Glow is to glow as the Surface Studio filter was to to caustics.
Yes.
Right. So the Surface Studio is kind of like taking 4 caustics and layering them together in one effect interface, and that's kind of what the Super Glow will do.
Yeah. That'll be beautiful. Yeah, because Surface Studio is like caustics or parallax on steroids. It's just beautiful. It's one of my favorite things to play with.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll wrap it up because we've been here long enough. And next week we'll have another episode. So come back next week, same time, same place, whichever place you were on. I appreciate
same bat
everybody.
time, same bat channel. Crap, I'm wearing Spidey today.
Dang. And until next time, we'll look forward to seeing everybody later. Thank you so much.